Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today I have Dee Dee with me. She's going to share so much knowledge that you guys have been really asking for, especially when it comes to your personal love life. How to find that right person, when to have the money talk with that person. So, like when it's too soon and when it's not, and if that person really isn't the right one. So, she is a perfect match coach. Did I say that right, Dee Dee?
Sure.
Soulmate
Yes.
coach. Soulmate
Soulmate
coach is
coach.
better. Yeah,
Yes.
soulmate coach. And she's here to really kind of not only tell you about what she does and how she got into that, why that's important for you guys and to listen up because this is the thing that you've been asking for, but also she's going to share with you some financial aspects, what to look for, what not to look for, and how things can basically happen financially and put yourself change your trajectory in a sense, put yourself in a better position financially when you actually find the right soulmate, if you will, that have the same line of thinking and is like-minded like yourself. So listen up, grab a pen, piece of paper, your favorite beverage. We're going to go ahead and just dive right in. So first off, Dee Dee, thank you for coming. And just if you don't mind, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Sure. First, thank you for having me on your podcast. What you're doing with your group is wonderful. So I'm definitely for financially being financially strong. So definitely, even though I'm dealing with relationships, money definitely has to do with relationships. So I'm Dee Dee Patterson, and I'm a soulmate coach. I have a new coaching program out. It's called Finding Love Ever After.
Mm.
And the goal of the coaching program is to help single women find the love of their life.
And that is a goal that I think a lot of single women are ready to accomplish. And one thing is, I wanted you to share your story. Like, how did you even think of, wow, this is something I really want to do to help others? How did that even come about?
Sure. So I met my love, the love of my life, about 12 years ago. We've been married for 11 years. And actually, it was a Saturday night. I was watching Lifetime channel way back then, and I don't know if any of you know Lifetime. They have movies that come on back to back, and they start it immediately. So you're like you can't leave. So I spent the whole Saturday watching Lifetime movies, and it was a special weekend. Match.com commercial came on over and over and over again. It came on like I don't know, like 10 times, and I just ignored it. I kept ignoring it. I was like, whatever, Match.com doesn't work. And then finally, after like the 10th time of hearing, it's okay to look, it's okay to look, I finally looked. It was late in the night, and I put in the perfect, what I thought was a perfect guy for me. So I put in things like his height, the age, living 20 miles away from me. And when I did the search, one person in all of Match.com showed up. There's one
Just
guy
one.
out there, huh?
Just one.
Yeah, just one, and it was my husband. I didn't know it was my husband, but yes, it was and I was just like shocked that there was a guy who actually met all the criteria that I would have wanted in a mate. And so I reached out to him. I think I waited till Sunday because I was like, I'm the female. I didn't want to be the one to initiate, but eventually I couldn't get him out of my mind. So finally I reached out to him. We met, we talked on the phone. That Monday, we talked back and forth. And then on Wednesday, we went on our first date, and we've been together ever since. And it's been wonderful and amazing. And so I want other women to experience being married to the love of their life. And so that's why I decided to become a soulmate coach, just to help other women experience having a really strong marriage.
And so that's pretty awesome because it's something that you actually experience yourself. And I really appreciate your whole setup of how you go through the criteria to figure out, like you said, you did it for yourself and you only got one match. So that's like 100% statistically, but you did
Yeah.
all that so you can help other people really filter out and do the same thing. And I always think of it for me, being a spiritually minded person, I say, hey, I want the person to be equally yoked with me, right? So a lot of
Right.
people say they want that person to be equally yoked, but you don't know if that person is equally yoked until you start courting them. And so
Right.
sometimes if you miss the dating or the courting piece because you're blinded by other things and you're trying to find that person, you can still find them, like you said, online and other places. But the secret sauce, it sounds like, is having a criteria and a plan to actually filter that person down to a perfect match.
Right. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So, yeah, one of the things we want to make sure is like a lot of women, I know a lot of women are searching, they want to marry the right guy, but sometimes we tend to settle. And I almost did that. I almost settled for the guy right before my husband. I came to my senses like, I can't picture myself being with this person for the rest of my life. And I did break up with the guy 3 weeks before I met my husband. So that's I know, right? So that's a lesson for women that if you give up too soon and just settle for the wrong guy, you might be missing out on the right guy and the better life and the happier life with the right person. So I coach the women that I work with to not to settle, to go ahead and ask for what you want. There's a lot of male gurus who are like, oh, you're over 30, just pick a guy. And they're like, oh, I mean, you
Just
can't
pick a
find the right.
guy.
I know, pretty much. You're like, oh, settle. You're not going to find the guy because you're over 30. But yes, I definitely believe that there is a guy out there for you. And that's what this coaching program is. It's just to help women find the right guy for them so they can have the strong, successful marriage.
I love that. And then when you say a strong, successful marriage, helping them filter out their must-have criteria. So when it comes to a financial sense, what is some advice you can probably give somebody out there right now looking?
Yeah, so oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to rephrase it in case it didn't come out right.
Yeah, so definitely finances, it was a big deal for me. The guy that I broke up with 3 weeks before I met my husband, we were not compatible as far as finances, but my husband and I are very compatible. And I was telling you earlier that I was doing the math on our net worth recently, and I found that my husband and I, when we got married 11 years ago, we had a negative net worth. I just found out what our net worth was, and we are at $900,000 net worth. And so, yeah, so we're almost millionaires, and that's
so you're tapping
crazy.
on the door of being a millionaire.
Yeah, that's the craziest. Like, I never thought that would happen, but it's not like, just in case there's friends and family listening, we do not have $1 million in our savings account or anything for you guys to ask for money. But what we do have is we have the equity in our house is $450,000, and then the money in our retirement is $450,000. So that equals the 900,000. So we don't actually have that money in our account, but our net worth is 900,000. So we're knocking on $1 million. And so my advice is to marry someone. I'm a big proponent in joint bank accounts. Marry someone you want to put the money together in a joint bank account, because I think that's how we grew our money so fast, is that we work together. Like, his deposit comes into our bank account, mine does, and we pay our bills together, we save money together, and all that helped us to build money very quickly. We bought like 2 cars in cash. We finished our basement in cash. So you want someone that you feel comfortable having a joint bank account together to build your money together. And then someone who has the work ethic. Because when my husband and I first got married, we both, if we combine our income, it was less than 100,000. But now, just from us working hard at work, we both make 6 figures, and that has helped us to build our money together. So definitely someone who wants to work, get promotions, and just someone who's very financially compatible, who wants to go at being financially stable with you.
And those are some really good points to think about. If you can't identify if somebody's a hard worker or not, that may come up as an issue later on down the line. So I like that box that needs to be checked for the hard work. And I like the fact that you also you're basically solidifying it's okay to work. And sometimes you have to continue to grow your income. You have to continue to ask for those raises, guys.
Right.
It's not a one done and that's it type of thing. Wherever you are currently in your life, kind of project where you want it to be with a mate years from now, because you're going to grow financially and everything. But the good thing is having that partner right along with you with the same mindset, doing the exact same thing. So I really like that. Now, besides having a formulated plan to help someone get right into what they doing that deep dive themselves, what they want in a mate, and then having them go through to evaluate. What else in your program specifically can they expect to get when they work with you?
Yeah, so the program, there's three parts, and they start with an M. So the first part is mindset. So just getting people ready to meet the one. Before I met my husband on Match.com, I did have to do a whole bunch of mindset work to be ready to meet the right guy. And of course, people always say you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else. So I had to do all that type of mindset work. So there's a part of the program where we deal with mindset, then we deal with the matching, where we look at finding the right match for you. And then the last one is the maintenance part. So again, my husband and I have been married for 11 years and our marriage has been amazing. And there are a lot of marriages out there that are not amazing, even if they met a good match. So in this program, I'll help you build the foundation for a strong marriage where you actually like being married, you actually like coming home to your spouse. There's plenty of marriages where that's not the case. So using the things that we learn and things we do to love being with each other 11 years later, I'll help my clients be able to do that. So so that's the mindset, matching, and the maintenance. And the way we do it, there's an educational part where I give you educational materials, and then we have weekly group coaching sessions where you can ask me any question you want with the person you're dating, and any question dealing with whether the person is the right person today. You know, some people, they ask advice to people who are not in a good marriage, who are not even with somebody, they ask advice to them. So with me, you actually ask advice for someone who's been happily married and they know I know what it takes to build a strong marriage.
I like that. And you're just basically holding their hand through the whole process. So if they just are at the beginning stage, it's okay. You walk them right through how to get that mindset, to expect the perfect person, not to say perfect, guys, but to expect that mate.
Right.
And then also how to get the mindset of what to do when you're matching them. And once they're married, actually how to maintain it. Now, that's something I've never heard of in a soul matching program, is that the maintenance part of actually saying, well, here's some of the do's and some of the don'ts. And when you do everything right, here's some of the things that's still going to happen out the blue, and this is how you handle it. I like that.
Yeah. There's because women could meet the right person and then still the marriage is not right because that foundation wasn't built. So that's why we want to make sure you actually do have a happily ever after type situation. So.
Okay, I like that. And is there something I like how you mentioned, and we've all done it before, you have a cousin or someone with a bright idea that want to lead you and what they think this is the right person for you. This is what you really should be focusing on. And sometimes that can be distractions, especially if we have the desire. If somebody has a desire to be with a companion, it'll lead them out of desperation at times instead of having a sound advice. So let's say someone is ready to start being matched up. They're going to contact you, right? And then they're ready to start the program. If you could give them a forethought of what should they do, how should they think about money when it comes to an individual? Should they have like a money talk as soon as they start dating, or should that come later?
Yeah, definitely. They should definitely have the money talk before marriage is even in the picture. I know I had a friend who's about to get engaged, and she was asking me questions. She was asking for advice about not having. I mean, she said she has not had the money talk with her future fiance, and she doesn't know how much he makes. And so, yeah, you definitely have to have that conversation early on when you know it's headed in that direction of marriage, is just knowing how much the person makes to see if that's something you can live with for the rest of your life, if that person is making that money and if they're heading in the right direction, based on where their their career path will probably be. So it is pretty early on. It's a difficult conversation, and in the coaching program, we talk about how to have that conversation with the person you're dating.
And I actually appreciate that. That's a good, solid piece of advice to have that money talk, because I think sometimes people may forget that knowing how much of an income you have coming in together, maybe you're assuming that that person makes so much money because they look nice, they smell nice, everything, they got a great car. So you just don't want to bring it up because you think, oh, well, we're going to definitely be able to save together and make some financial steps together as a team. But what you don't know is that,
Right.
that person could have possibly had a great job, but paid off their car and did everything, but now they're laid off and they have to go back to school to get a whole nother set of skills to be able to provide, which is nothing wrong with it. You can work with that, but as long as you know going in, that picture perfect person may not be as picture perfect as you think if you don't ask questions to find out.
Exactly. Yeah, my husband and I, before we got married, we did do a analysis of our debt. So we knew what each person had as far as debt. And then we were just so motivated after we got married. We paid off our debt within 18 months of being married, and we kind of just stayed out of debt after we got married, except for our mortgage. But yeah, pretty much once we paid off our debt, we were just so motivated to stay out of debt. So if you find a partner like that who's willing to get out of debt with you, and then you guys use, like, we were using both incomes. We paid off his car first, and then we paid off one of my loans and his, like we just went the whole snowball method and paid off each of our debts. And it just made it so much easier to build wealth once we got rid of all of that.
That sounds like it's a lot easier with a plan.
Right.
And then basically now when all the debt is gone, you guys can just build together and everything's going in the bank or more into your investing, more into your savings account, more into funding your retirement account. So it's a win-win on both sides when you actually sit down, have that talk, know what you're getting into to have the match correctly.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you definitely want someone you can communicate well with. One of the great things about my husband is, like, we always could talk about anything, and money is a big thing that you will have to talk to your partner about a lot. Like, we constantly have money conversations. Hey, what do you want to pay? Usually it's not like $10 or anything, but when we want to buy new flat screen TV or buy new something, you want someone you can have those conversations with. And I know there are some couples, when it comes to money, it's becomes a big argument. So you definitely need someone who you could be candid with about money, and yeah, and there's no issues, and yeah, so that's important to be able to communicate with your partner, and all that. You should find out all of that, of course, before you get married. Don't wait till after you get married to find out you can't talk to your partner about money.
Very, very true. And guys, if you learning too, try to, how can I say it? I don't want to say don't get engaged, but you want to make sure if you're getting engaged that you have the money talk, right? Because now
Exactly.
you're telling everybody, in case it doesn't work out, it could be more so not in a good favor. So definitely the money talks are a way to go. Now, another thing that you touched on is basically knowing your net worth. And I love and I appreciate, my husband and I, we do the same thing. Same thing as far as a money date. We'll sit down,
Okay.
look at our finances. Especially as a homeowner. There's times that things pop up all the time. You need a new fence because a storm came through and blew it down, or, there's a ton of things that we have to kind of walk through and talk through. And then sometimes, guys, I'll be honest, a lot of the money talks might not be comfortable. When I first had to have the money talk about my student loans, how we're going to tackle this head on. It's like, I don't want to face it. I don't want to talk about it. So you really do have to ensure, that you're paying attention and your focus is correct. And you guys are working as a team when you are married. And so I appreciate that maintenance that you have. Anything you can share about the maintenance that will probably, because I'm thinking about all those couples out there right now that are great and they're about to get married and they maybe come to you to ensure that they made all the right steps.
Yeah, no, I think the communication being the key was one of the big things that is important with maintenance, is not shutting down when there's important conversations. And I guess, and then there's just like the money talk, having those conversations beforehand and knowing where each person stands on certain viewpoints. My husband and I, we're not 100%, we don't agree on everything, which is good, because he grew up differently than I did, and we just have very different points of views on things, but we're able to talk to each other. And one big thing that I teach my clients is to be curious. Like sometimes and I found this out early in marriages, I assume things instead of just asking him what your thoughts are, why, what are you thinking? So that's a big thing, is just not like assuming something, but actually asking questions. Hey, and not in a accusatory way, but actually, hey, what's going on here? And then probably 95% of the time, my assumption is wrong. And I was just like, yeah, I was completely wrong. I remember in our, it was probably like the first or second day of marriage, I realized that I wanted my husband to do the dishes because I did it for like 3 days in a row. And and then so instead of just asking, hey, honey, I thought we agreed before we got married that we're going to share on the household chores. And instead of saying something like that, I just didn't do the dishes for 3 days, thinking that he would get the hint. He did not get the hint. So eventually I told him, he's like, oh, I didn't know how to use the dishwasher, was the only. And so if I just asked and told him, but now he's wonderful. He definitely shares in the household chores. So just having conversations of assuming things and not being passive aggressive, those are some maintenance stuff for marriage. It's just talking in a calm way, and not when you get really angry and you're so upset, you just talk early on and not and not letting things fester. I found that just talking early, we're both calm. So those are some of the maintenance things that we teach in the coaching program.
I love that. The dishwasher is always something that, and he I know your husband was being honest, but sometimes it's one of those things. It's like, I really just didn't know how to work it.
Right.
All you had to do was tell me, just show me the buttons. Because guys, this stuff can be complicated too. With the newer homes and everything that we have nowadays. Yeah, so it's just the small little things that you're talking about that maybe just open communication can not make it an issue. And you could have at the time got filled up with feeling a certain type of way, and he had no idea. So I love, that's a good tidbit for everyone to kind of think about and follow. So that's just a taste of what you're going to get when you're in her program. Now, that being said, how can they reach out to you?
Oh yeah, that's good. So there's a couple ways. First, I'm on social media everywhere as Dee Dee Patterson. So if you search Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for Dee Dee Patterson. Also, hopefully at under this recording, the podcast, there will be a booking link where you can just you can book my just click the book, find a spot in the calendar, and we'll have a conversation and see if you're the right match for the program, and we'll go from there, and then I'll help you find the love of your life. So those are the best way. Well, the booking, and if you want to just find me on social media, look for Dee Dee Patterson.
And one thing I hope you guys are gathering too, Dee Dee is so easy to talk to. So you can imagine, you might have times when you're very stressed, or, you've been looking for so long, you didn't have any success, or whatever the case may be, but she's easy to talk to. Book some time. If you're unsure if she can help and you just want to ask a simple question, DM her, but she's very easy to work with, easy to talk to. So just imagine how much easier it is going to be when you start getting that advice, that mindset, then when you start looking for your match, and then when you're finally in that relationship and you're ready to maintenance it. So all three of those components go so much further when it's with someone that actually cares, have been in the shoes that you have been in, and they're looking forward to giving you that support and comfort that you need through the process.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited. So I hope you guys are definitely excited too. If you have any questions, again, and I was doing this kind of slide, anybody on just the podcast, if you're not on YouTube, you can't see it, but I'm pointing down to say, hey, here's the links. Here's all of her social media outlets that you can go to. And again, why wait? Why wait when you can have a proven process? She had 100%. Now, I'm not saying you can get, your match just filter down to one person like she did, but if she done that,
Right.
then why would you not want to try it? So definitely. Anything you want to leave the audience with, Dee Dee?
No, I'm just excited. I know if you're looking for a long time, I'm just excited to help. I want to help as many women as possible because marriage is wonderful if you do it the right way. And I definitely want to help you have a happy marriage and just love your life. And yes, I definitely want to help you. So reach out to me and we'll go from there.
All right, guys, you heard it. It's time to make it happen. And until next time, I will see you in the next episode. Remember to always share, follow, and like, and we'll see you in the next episode.